Choosing Family by ginnyrules27. Chapter 25. Mal smiled as she watched Hattie play on the floor of the den, Estelle keeping a watchful eye on the proceedings. A couple of years had gone by since her brother had been born, and Mal wouldn't have traded it for the world. Nothing had really changed in terms of her family dynamics. There was just an extra person now who got her protection. Her nasty inner voice had been wrong, something Mal would never have been happier for. Plus, Hattie allowed her to test out her skills drawing people. Whenever Hattie went down for a nap, Mal snuck in and sat by the crib with her sketchbook in hand. So far her sketches looked like a deformed potato, but there was one that looked close to human. "Hey, Mally," Persephone said with a smile as she walked into the den. "Hey, Steph," Mal said, looking up. Ever since she had that talk with her dad, Hades and Persephone always seemed to find ways to prove to Mal that she wasn't being replaced, and that she had a spot in their family. For Mal's 8th birthday, Persephone gave her a leather jacket that she made using materials she had obtained over in Oridon. It was mainly purple and silver, but had a smidgen of green near the elbows. No one would question it, though. Green was Maleficent's colour, after all, even though Mal pretended it was green for Persephone instead. But Mal's favourite part of the jacket was on the back. There, on the centre of the jacket, were 2 dragons. One purple and one dark blue, almost black. No one would question it at a glance, and what with Mal being known as Maleficent's daughter on the Isle, no one would dare look twice. Mal never took it off. Sure, the sleeves were a bit long, and Steph made it slightly bigger than a normal jacket to allow Mal the chance to grow into it, but Mal didn't mind. The best part was definitely the dragons. Mal still couldn't believe Steph had included them. She still remembered the talk she had with Persephone regarding her love of dragons when she was 8. Mal bit her lip as she sketched out the outline of a dragon, one of many attempts on the page. She couldn't help but feel guilty, but she found that she really liked dragons. Despite the link they had to Maleficent, Mal couldn't help but be drawn to them. "Mal?" Persephone asked, knocking on her door. Mal looked up and quickly closed her sketchbook. The last thing she wanted was for Persephone to realise that Mal liked dragons. That might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak, and Persephone would kick her out of the underworld. "Yes, Steph?" "What are you drawing?" Persephone asked, giving Mal a smile. "Just sketching," Mal shrugged. "What's up?" "Nothing much. Just wanted to stop by," Persephone said as she sat down on the edge of the bed and picked up the sketchbook. "Can I look?" "It's not all that good." "I'm sure it looks just fine," Persephone said. "Your drawings are always amazing." Mal smiled slightly before saying, "Go ahead," she said softly. Persephone opened the sketchbook and couldn't help but smile slightly as she looked through the sketches of Hattie, Oma, Estelle, and then she came across the page of dragon attempts. I know who dragons are connected to," Mal said softly as Persephone remained silent. "But I can't help it. Dragons are still awesome. The way they look with the curves and the rough exterior of the scales. Not to mention the ability to fly and breathe fire." "Mal, there's nothing wrong with liking dragons," Persephone told her. "Just because Maleficent is who most people think of when they think of dragons, doesn't mean you need to be ashamed of liking them. As well, dragons are often connected to the gods, so it would make sense that you are drawn to them." "But you and Dad seem to really hate anything related to Maleficent," Mal said softly. Persephone sighed. "Your father and I do have our differences with Maleficent. I'm not going to lie. But Mal, just because you like dragons doesn't mean that you are like Maleficent. And it doesn't mean that you are any less our daughter." Mal bit her lip as she gave Persephone a small smile. "So, no matter what, I'm still going to be your daughter?" Mal asked softly. "Even if you eventually have a little girl and I get my sister?" "Mal, honey, I could have 100 daughters. Heck, I could have 100 children, boy or girl. And you would still be my daughter. Nothing will change that." "You're sure?" Mal asked, looking at Persephone. "I mean, I don't want you to have 100 kids. There are days I don't want to share you with Hattie, but he's reasonable." Persephone chuckled. It was just an exaggeration, sweetheart. I don't want that many kids either. But I am positive that no matter how many siblings you get, you will always be my eldest. Oh, okay, Mal said softly before pausing and tilting her head in confusion. But wait, I wasn't born to you. How can I be your oldest? Wouldn't that be Haddie? Persephone gave Mal a soft smile. Mal, when you think of your mother, who comes to mind? Well, you, Steph. Mal said instantly, her voice soft, as if worried about how Persephone would react. You do all the stuff some mum's supposed to do, and you don't rant about cursing entire kingdoms. Persephone smiled, trying not to show how truly touched she was. And that is how you're my oldest. I've been there since you were a baby, sweetheart. I raised you. Blood doesn't always dictate who family is. Mal gave her a small smile before sighing. Steph, I wish I had been born to you instead of the dragon. Dragons are cool and everything, and the benefit of the food when we get it and no one's able to touch me on the isle is great. I know, sweetie, but it doesn't matter. You are my daughter, and if anyone says otherwise to you, tell them to tell me that. Persephone nodded. Does that include Maleficent? She hasn't said anything, but there are days when she'll go on rants about Dad being worthless and weak. As your dad often says, Maleficent will say a lot of things, but that doesn't make them true. What matters is your opinion of your father. But I'd be glad to have a word with Maleficent. I have plenty to say to her. Mal nodded. I know Dad's not weak, and considering the things Maleficent considers worthless, the insult doesn't mean much coming from her. Steph, if you do have a talk with her, can I sell tickets? Or at least let Human know so that we can watch? Persephone chuckled softly. If and when I talk with Maleficent, it'll be when you're much older, so you won't get hurt if you decide to watch, Persephone promised. Mal sighed but nodded. Persephone smiled slightly. Don't worry, Mally. No one messes with my kid. Mal couldn't help but smirk slightly. It felt good, hearing Steph say Mal was her kid and knew she meant it. Steph, are you planning on having more kids? Mal asked softly. Persephone sighed. I don't know, Mal. Truthfully, it's hard leaving you and Haddie every 6 months. I don't know if I could do that to another kid. Mal nodded. But, as I said, even if I do have another kid, you will always be mine, and you'll always be my eldest. Persephone promised. Mal gave her stepmother a small smile. And a flashback. Mal, honey, I'd like to have a talk with you. Persephone said, pulling Mal back to the present day. Do you remember when I told you that just because you like dragons, it doesn't make you any less my daughter? And how dragons are a godly symbol? Yes, Steph. Mal nodded, unsure of what that conversation was about. You also said that no matter how many siblings I had, I'd be your eldest. You're not pregnant with a dragon, are you? No, sweetheart, I'm not. Persephone told her, trying not to laugh. Oh, Mal said. I mean, you could be. Shape-shifting is a godly power. Zeus has done it numerous times, after all. Very true, but I'm not pregnant, Persephone told her, before taking a deep breath. Mal, honey, what I'm about to say is completely optional, and 100% your choice. Okay, what's up? Persephone took a moment to consider the 2 topics she wanted to talk to Mal about. After weighing them over in her head, she opted to go with the slightly easier topic first. I've got 2 things that I'd like to talk to you about, but we'll start with this one. We both know that your full name connects you to someone we're both not particularly fond of. That's an understatement, Mal snorted. Yes, well, how would you feel if your dad and I started calling you by a different full name? Only if you want to, Persephone offered. Mal sat up in shock. You mean I wouldn't be Maleficent anymore? I'd have my own first name? She asked softly. Not being a copy of the dragon. Not needing to earn her full first name. That would be a dream come true. Exactly, sweetie. You are your own person. And I think it's high time we stop letting her mould you into a copy of her. Persephone said. Mal nodded. What would it be? My new first full name, I mean. That would be up to you. As I said, that is your choice. But if I may make a suggestion, I'd keep the Mal part of it. That way, the transition won't be as jarring, Persephone said gently. Mal bit her lip and thought, what about Melinda? Mal asked, her voice soft. I like that, Persephone said with a smile. I do too. Mal nodded. Melinda Bertha. Dragons are still my thing, though. The dragon's not taking that away. Of course not, Persephone said. It's high time we start associating dragons with someone different anyway, she thought. Now, for the other topic I want to discuss. Mal, you know you are my daughter, no matter what. But how would you feel about making it official? Really? Mal asked. I'd be yours? And Borodon wouldn't be looming over our shoulders, in case Maleficent made a report? With this kind of magical adoption, you would be legally and magically mine. You'd still be biologically Maleficent's, so Haddie would still be your half-brother. But Maleficent would have no right to you anymore. But, like I said, Mal, it's your choice. Persephone didn't have the chance to finish due to the 9-year-old wrapping her arms around her in a hug. Yes! Yes! I want that, Steph! More than anything! Mal exclaimed, startling Estelle, who looked over at the two of them in shock. Persephone grinned, unable to contain her own happiness. Oh, Mal, I'm so happy to hear that. So, would this affect the registry over in Borodon? Or would they still know me as Maleficent's daughter? Mal asked. That entry can be removed, and you would put under my entry, just like Haddie. Good. Mal smiled. Oh, can I tell Uma, Jay and Harry, right, Mum? Persephone paused, having heard the new title. Truthfully, she hadn't expected Mal to use the title of Mum so quickly. That didn't mean she didn't like it. Mal, sweetheart, you know you don't have to call me that right away if you're not comfortable, she said. Mal shook her head. I meant what I said last year. When I think of my mum, you're the one that comes to mind, not the dragon. You do all the mum things, and you're not some ranting, insane, dragon-obsessed loon. You said it yourself. Blood doesn't dictate family. You're my mum. Persephone couldn't help but smile at the innocent reasoning. Such was the logic of a 9-year-old. Okay, sweetheart. Now, back to my question. Can I tell them? They might start wondering why I've started calling you Mum when I was calling you Steph before. Of course. But as long as they know it can't get spread around the aisle, Persephone said, and then paused. Mal, honey, you will still need to spend one night with Maleficent until the registry is updated. Uma, Jay and Harry can keep it a secret, Mum. Mal said, they know about Dad, after all. Persephone smiled at that. The whole Maleficent part stinks, but hey, what can you do? Mal added, shrugging a little. Hey, it's just until the registry is updated, and then you're never going near her again, Persephone promised. How long would it take? Changing the registry? The actual adoption would take about an hour. 2 at most. Changing the registry would have to wait until the next time I'm in Oridon. Mal nodded. Okay, so I just have to keep pretending I'm the Dragonspawn for about 6 months? Unfortunately. Well, I spent 9 years doing it. What's 6 months more? Mal asked with a sigh. Persephone couldn't help but give a sad smile upon hearing that. Mal shouldn't have to resign herself to living with Maleficent. Oh, Mum, Mal asked, what would this do for my magic? Like, would it make me a full god, or would I still have my fey side? You may retain a bit of your fey powers, but the majority of your magic would be godly abilities, Persephone said gently. Mal couldn't help but smile. The promise of no connection to Maleficent was just too exciting. Could we do the adoption now? What does it need? Mal asked as she got off the sofa. Of course, sweetheart. If that's what you want, Persephone said with a smile as she got up too. Normally one would never leave a 3-year-old alone in a room, especially with a 3-headed dog. However, Estelle was pretty much a nanny to Haddie at this point, and both of them knew the Cerberus would never allow any harm to come to the young boy. All it requires is a potion that you'd have to drink, Persephone told her as she got the ingredients out from the pantry. Thankfully, she had picked up all the required ingredients the last time she had been in Auradon. She and Hades had talked about her adopting Mal back around her 8th birthday. The only reason it had taken so long was because Persephone wanted to do the research in the best form of adoption. The last thing she wanted to do was for this to end up hurting Mal. That's it? Mal asked. Seems pretty simple. It's magic, Mal. It doesn't need to be flashy to be powerful, Persephone told her. However, I will need to cut your hand slightly. Blood magic, as it implies, requires blood. Mal nodded. Even if it might hurt, she'd do anything to make it so she was Steph's and not Maleficent's. It won't be a big cut, sweetie, and I'll make sure it heals straight after we have a few drops in the potion. I promise. Okay, Mal said. I trust you, Mum. Persephone gave her a smile as she started to prepare the potion, pouring liquids from ancient-looking bottles into 2 bowls. Got any Eye of Newt in there? Mal chuckled as she watched. Maleficent rarely taught her anything about magic, so to be able to watch this was a rare treat. No, it's pomegranate juice, binding elixir, crushed lily petals in holy water, that sort of thing, Persephone told her with a chuckle. Ah, that sounds much better than Eye of Newt, Mal said, and then bit her lip. I thought anything with blood magic was considered dark, though. You're not going to get in trouble for this, are you? If I do, then I do, Persephone said simply. You are my daughter, Mally. We're just making it official in every way. Mal nodded, though she bit her lip in worry. Now, can I have your hand, please? Persephone said gently, and Mal nodded, handing Persephone her hand. It's just a small cut, sweetheart, Persephone said gently, as she carefully made a small cut on Mal's pointer finger with a knife, before holding it over one of the bowls and squeezing it gently, causing a few drops to land and turning the mixture inside gold with veins of purple running through. Honestly, she didn't understand why the mortals always cut their palms when they did this. There were so many more nerve endings in there, and all you were doing was causing unnecessary pain. I wonder how I could replicate that, Mal thought as she looked at the mixture. Be fun with the spray paint using something like that. Persephone quickly healed Mal's finger before cutting her own hand and adding the blood, turning the other mixture gold and green. Okay, she said softly after healing her own hand. Now you drink this one, and I'll drink the one that's in front of you. That's it? It's that simple? Mal asked. That's it, Mally. Persephone nodded. I can go first if you'd like. Mal shook her head. I'm good at doing it at the same time. Okay, Persephone said with a smile, as they both picked up their respective bowls. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Mal gulped the liquid down. It didn't taste too bad. Not like how most potions tasted, or so she had read in the limited book she had on the aisle. You might feel a bit of a head rush. That's your body adjusting to the added magic, Persephone told her. In fact, it might be a good idea for you to sit down. Come here. She gently scooped Mal up and carried her over to the sofa in the den, where Haddie and Estelle were still playing dutifully. Thanks, Mum, Mal said softly. She had spent enough time around Persephone to know that there wasn't point in arguing. Why aren't you getting the head rush? I'm an adult, and have been a full goddess for much longer than you have even been alive, Mal, Persephone said gently. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Are you feeling okay? Mal nodded. A little bit of a head rush, like you said, but I'm good. Well, just stay sitting for a bit, okay? At least until it passes. Okay, Mum. Hey, does this mean I'll have control over plants, like you? Potentially, yes, Persephone nodded. I can teach you. Not that it will do much good on the Isle, where it's mostly buildings, she thought with an inward frown, but she didn't say anything at seeing Mal's grin at the prospect of learning new magic. In fact, her glee was so infectious that Persephone had to smile back. Take that, Maleficent! I told you I'd get my daughter back, Persephone thought. Honestly, I should have thought of this years ago, when I wanted to take Mal to Auradon after Hades brought her to the underworld back when she was 5. This would have been the perfect way to do it. And maybe Mal wouldn't have taken Haddie being a boy so hard, if she had already been legally mine as well. She wouldn't have been living with Maleficent and having the dragon pour all that doubt into her head. I really should have thought of this years ago. But it was done now, and it couldn't be undone. Mal was her daughter in every sense of the word. Well, every sense that mattered. I love you, Mal, Persephone said softly, kissing her daughter on the forehead. Mal smiled and rested her head on Persephone's shoulder. They stayed like that for a bit, until the sound of the front door opening caught their attention. Mal? In the den, Uma! Mal called back, and Uma walked in, smiling at seeing her cousin and her aunt. I wanted to come by and see if you wanted to hang out by the docks, Uma asked. Sure, Mal nodded. Then come on, Uma grinned. Thanks for letting me steal her aunt's stuff. Just don't get into too much trouble, you two, Persephone chuckled as she picked up Haddie. It's like you don't trust us, Mum, Mal chuckled as she dragged Uma out. Persephone just shook her head in amusement as Uma's shocked questioning followed them out of the underworld. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you were enjoying that one, because I've been wanting to record that one since I started this story. Oh, that's gorgeous. I love that so much. Persephone's such a good mum. All that smiling and saying things softly, it's just the opposite of Maleficent, and Mal's earned it, you know? It's just so lovely. Oh, my heart. Little Haddie being nannied by Estelle. Just, I'm thinking of Michael and Nana from Peter Pan when that comes into my head. And I like that she tries to draw him and sits with him in his crib. That's so sweet. If any of you guys don't know, I'm a sucker for cuteness. But if anyone's been on my channel long enough, they'll know all about that already. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this again. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, whatever time zone you're in. See you, my guys, gals and non-binary pals. Take care, and bye!